Metroid Dread speedrunning has received multiple breakthroughs as of recent, and the any percent unrestricted route in particular has changed significantly since the last major discovery. The discovery of the two-tile shine sink or the aim down clip has opened so many doors in routing and skips, most notably the plasma beam skip. However, to make this route possible, it's first required to trigger and clear frozen Artaria in order to access the Artaria Berenia elevator and green teleporter. Unfortunately, this also means fighting Z-57 without the help of plasma beam or ice missiles. And trust me, you do not want to do that. Luckily, there's a better way, and it's utilizing a glitch known as the axis skew. Axis skew is a glitch that results in Samus facing towards the camera. During this state, you will not be able to move left or right normally, except when jumping. Note that spin jumping will break the skew and return you to normal, so you need to do some neutral jumps instead. In order to do this, press the B button to jump and then choose the direction left or right depending on whichever way you wish to go. While skewed, you can charge Speed Booster while running in place. This is important as the Z-57 arena is afflicted by what we call slow boost, which forces you to spend twice the amount of time in order to speed boost. This also means that you would traditionally need to cover twice the amount of ground, and Z-57's arena does not give that much space. It's important to hold left while charging the speed booster. If you hold right, you'll be unable to charge a spark unless you're frame perfect, since Samus will stop speed boosting immediately after it charges. Note that while this isn't necessarily impossible, it's also rather difficult because most people are not well tuned to the timing of a slow boost. This specific Z-57 skew is also special since it lets you move with a flash shift. Normally you can't do this, but here it will allow you to flash shift only to the left and with some details. This is very important for some variations of the kill, as will be explained later. There's only one way to get into Z-57's axis skew, and thankfully it's really easy. All you need to do is hold the shoot button while you're going through the morph launcher, skip the cutscene while continuing to hold the button, and then let go right when you see her arm cannon begin to charge a shot. If done correctly, Samus releases the shot and faces the camera. This is where things get a bit tricky. You have to find the gap in Z-57's attacks to actually charge and store the spark. It's important to recognize what attack it's doing while you're doing the skew, then react accordingly. Here's a compilation of all the patterns and how to handle them. Let's first take a look at the most ideal pattern. The easiest pattern to handle is when Z-57 opens by doing a spit and it goes from right to left. Just flash left here, then charge the spark. What happens if Z-57 gives you a left to right spit? Well, you can still do this, but you have to damage tank the beam, so it's really not safe for low percent. Reminder that touching the beam once with no tanks will instantly kill you. Now let's go over a specific low percent strategy if you get the left to right spit. The goop on the floor that the spit leaves behind does a lot of damage and you will die if you stay in it for too long. Z-57 will either do a close spit or a far spit depending on RNG. If the spit ends closer to you, you can do one flash to reach the gap in the goop on the floor. If he does a far spit, what you can do is flash twice to reach the second gap. You'll need to be careful not to stand on the thermal gate on the right side of the arena or your flash shift won't work. Try to aim around standing here instead. If you flash while on top of the thermal gate, it leads to a lot of weird jank. But in this particular fight, all it really ends up doing is have you eat a beam, which results in either a death or loss of skew depending on your conditions. Now that we've covered strategies for Z-57 spit attacks, let's switch our attention over to the claw attack opener. You might have noticed that with the spit attacks, Z-57 chooses to go from right to left or left to right. This is not the case for claws. You will always get the same direction every time, the only thing that's different is the speed at which he executes the claws. To handle this, you'll need to try to react to the claw startup and delay your flash accordingly. You can jump, then flash here to easily avoid the claws. For the second claw, do a small jump followed by a big jump. If you get claws again, you'll need to avoid them before you can do a spark. For low percent, you'll need to move quickly after the spark, since much like with the beam, the claw will one-shot you. You can avoid the claws without flashing, but it makes it a lot tighter and more difficult for no benefit, so just flash at the apex of your jump. The Skew kill itself is pretty high risk, especially on low percent. Using the safest strats, it's surprisingly consistent, but you might want to opt for the old sync kill anyways, since it's much more straightforward to learn, doesn't rely on RNG, and isn't that much slower. With the Skew kill, you can save anywhere between 2 to 7 seconds depending on the pattern you're given. If you want to learn more about these kills, other strats, or receive direct help, please visit the Dread Speedrunning server linked in the description. We have help channels that many people check on daily. This strat and other strats may appear intimidating at first glance, but all it really takes is identifying the nuances and understanding the key details. Hopefully, this video helps you greatly on removing one of the biggest run killers in unrestricted categories that visit Frozen Artaria. Thanks for watching, and remember, no excuses, just go fast.